Yeah, you might have to adjust the quality or something.
Oh, my internet's so slow too. Ooh. So you should just be speed bagging it in there. So right off the
Yeah,
so even if you don't know which pack you want to get, like just speed your ass in there like as fast as you possibly can.
and then I get dunked. It's so sad.
Oh yeah, I see the nipple.
And then I get bonked.
Oh okay. Oof.
No.
All right. So you're running standards, right?
Yeah.
So
Uh, no,
you
this one actually I'm rotary.
you rotary? Oh okay.
Hmm.
Uh, so you need to hold your dress longer. So you're coming in without a whole lot of energy. See, by that time you're at half already, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of have to view it as your life bar is basically like your engine bar. Like once you hit zero, like you're dead.
Yep.
Um, so you need to hold your. Let's see. Let's start your cadence. So you need to hold your drifts longer, and you need to hold your energy in lasers. So you shunt to engine, you boost, and then you immediately shunt to lasers, and then you hold
Mhm.
that for like I don't know what the time is, like a second or something like that, and then you shunt back, and then you should have like full bar again. Um,
Okay, so I need to work on the timing of the shunts.
yes, and it's hard if
Okay.
you're so if you're running both standards and rotary at different times, I would suggest you kind of pick one and just learn that cadence and get that down to like a T before you jump to the other one, because it's hard to run like kind of like two at the same time because they have different
Right.
rhythms, different turn speeds, like a different rate of like fire for killing AI. So it's kind of hard to. It's like two different shifts. It feels like.
Yeah,
Uh,
it really does.
uh,
So with the shunting, I want to sorry, I'm gonna write this down
oh yeah,
because
you're
I'm
good.
old school.
Sure.
So have it in engines and then start the boost, and then I should switch over to power as soon as as soon as the drift has started. And then
Yeah.
after the drift has started, I leave it in power for about a second and then switch back to engines. So then I have a full bar of engines.
Yes. And so you
Okay.
never touch the power button or like the like your lasers or engine. It's all just shunting.
Hmm.
So you and you're
Right.
running slam, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
correct.
So you keep your power in lasers the whole time and then you just shunt back and
Hmm.
forth. So I think the
Yep.
cadence is when you shunt to engine and then all of a sudden you get like the pips on the left side, right, where it shows your bar, your
Yep.
engine bar, and then you boost and then you immediately drift, and then when I press that drift button, that's when I shunt back to lasers, and then you charge back up. And then if you do it like, it's kind of weird. Like if you do that early enough, like when you have close to a full bar, you don't lose like anything, and then you could have shorter like drift durations, which is better because you go
Hmm.
faster. But as soon as you burn like more, as soon as you go down to like a quarter or something like that, then all of a sudden like like you have to hold your drifts like much longer for some reason. I don't know if it's a bug or
Yeah.
something. All right, let's keep going. So when you're coming out of the ISD,
Uh-huh.
you even when you shunt and stuff, you shouldn't pinball or you shouldn't have your engine down or your engine to zero. You should put that out at 100 or your throttle. You should put your throttle at 100%. That way you come out quicker.
Really? Oh, okay.
But just for when you spawn, and it's like way quicker. Um, okay, then you're farming.
Okay. Throttle at 100 when you respawn. Okay.
Yes. So at this point, like once you shut that multi lock off,
Yeah.
I would probably just select the next AI and start flying to it. That's probably what I'd do.
Okay. I like have a problem. I have like anxiety with like Gallatin and Xavian in
Ah,
particular
yes.
because like there's so many rocks and I want to make sure that the missile actually hits.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where
Does it just get easier with time?
it does. Like, you just. Once you get more familiarity with, like, killing AI, then you'll realize, like, when you will and when you won't kill something, right? and then
Okay.
sometimes you don't always get it right? So, but it's just about having that high probability. Oh, okay. So when you shot that, you were almost like you were at super low engine.
Yep,
Or
I had gassed myself.
yeah. So let's see. Yeah, when you shot that, you are like at 10 speed. So your auxiliary, like your MLMs and your Golo,
Uh-huh.
they inherit your momentum or your starting velocity.
Oh my gosh, I didn't have. Oh, that's really good to know.
So when you shoot them, before you shoot them, you should be boosting, and you should be. I think top speed on slam is like 220 or something like that. You want to be
I
as
think it's 230.
close, yeah, as close as you can to that. So you don't necessarily need to
Oh,
be
230.
at max speed, but like um, you should boost and then shoot it, and then you can unboost or whatever or drift. Um, so like every single time when you shoot MLMs, when you shoot Golos, all that stuff, and then sometimes you want to shoot it so your Golo is like moving quickly, and sometimes you want to
Uh-huh.
shoot it when it goes slowly, right? Just depending on like the angle that you are, and
Oh.
according to them. So if they're coming more towards you, a lot of times like I like to shoot it like a little slower, um, and then that way it'll like kind of curve around and hit them. Because if you shoot too fast, it'll like way overshoot it. But if you're
Hmm.
coming up from above, I want to shoot it fast. If I'm like above or below or something. So you're super low. You're super gassed right now.
Yeah.
In this situation, so it happens, right? It just happens to people, so I wouldn't feel bad about it. But you should hold your drifts a long time. So do you know about the second emergency bar or like the emergency bar?
Not really. No.
So I'm gonna pause it here. So you can't really see it, but so you have this bar right here, right?
Uh-huh.
So the way you have it, the lighter red means you have one bar, and then you have overcharge. That's when it gets bright,
Oh, yeah, yep.
and that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
your second bar. So there's a
Yep.
third bar of energy. It's
There's
called
a
the
what the
yeah,
fudge?
it's called the emergency bar, and that one builds when you don't shunt for a period of time, and it's like 3 times as long as like your gasping rhythm, or your shunting rhythm. It's 2 or 3 times
Oh my
or
gosh.
something. And you can't see here, but there's like a bar that's like right here, and then
Uh-huh.
you'll note if you really hold your drifts long, you'll start seeing this little bar like slowly emerge up, and then like if you shunt while there's anything in here, it's gonna take that energy, that corresponding like percentage of energy of
Uh-huh.
this bar, and then move it towards this bar. So
Wait.
it's like a free bar of energy. So
I think I've seen something like that. Yeah.
yeah, when you're running dry, like what's generally a good thing is just don't shunt for a period of time, especially if you're not like under like no one shooting you or whatever, and let that
Mm-hmm.
sucker charge up, and then whenever you push it back, that'll give you all that corresponding energy, and then you'll be able to like bring your rhythm back, right? So just hold one
Gotcha.
drift for like, I mean, it seems like an eternity, right? Because it's in game, but maybe like 3 or 4 seconds or something, and then so you could build up maybe a quarter of the bar, and then you'll get that
Okay.
quarter of a bar back to like wherever you're at. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep. That makes sense.
Okay. Let's see. And I don't know what your comms are. This game, did you have 2 farmers?
Yes. So it was
Okay.
me and Blackheart.
So a good rule of thumb, especially when you're trying to get to know people,
Mm-hmm.
when you haven't played with them, is to ping every single one. Like he pinged that when you're about to shoot it.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, you ping every single one, and I'm not very good at it, right?
Okay.
Um,
Ping all the time.
yeah. So especially when you're going into your frigate attacks, you want to come in with a lot of energy because you're going to be doing these orbits, and then you're going to
Yeah.
be like a target, right? So you want to come
Mm-hmm.
in. See, oh look, so you can see your emergency bar rise up on that side. Did you see it?
I
Uh,
think so.
okay, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
right there,
So
yeah.
you haven't shunted for a bit, and then you shunted back. Now you have like all this overcharge energy, right? And before
Yes.
you were just like completely dry. You were like right at like 1 bar. Now you're at like a
Uh-huh.
1.5, and that like really helps. Oh, this is good.
So are these good drifts? Because Kevin was like killing me all the time.
Oh, Well, so it's different when you're playing against one. If there's like five people he could shoot at, or just like you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if there's just one dude just like chasing you, like, I mean, this is like, there's nothing you're really gonna do that's gonna be crazy evasive, you know? But the one thing I would say is you should keep your time on target like way more. And we could drill that stuff. It's hard to describe it like in like verbally. It's easier to kind of just to show it. But
Okay.
let me see. So it's nice to have with rotary like a standard like orbiting pattern that you do, and
Mm-hmm.
then you could just go into a custom and you could just practice it over and over and over again. So some people like
Right.
to do that spline one where they go like over the top and then they go down under and they go back.
Oh yeah.
That's like Lions and Plat. There's like a bunch of dudes that do that, and that's with the rotary, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's my method, which is when you turn sideways and kind of orbit back and forth around it, you know,
Yep.
which is what you were doing for a bit. So I would just practice it over and over again. I would pick
Gotcha.
one and I try to figure it out. And then you need to pick one per map because
One per map.
you
Okay.
can't do left or you can't do like the sideways one that I do on every single map, and you can't do the overhead one like on every single map. Like Nadiri, for example, like it's just too
Yes.
congested. So you have to kind of do like these like slashing patterns, like these kind of like X's back and forth sometimes, or
Mm-hmm.
you have to do like, I mean, depending where you're at in the stage and stuff. So that'd be one thing. I would just keep working on that.
Okay.
Um,
Sounds good.
let's see. So basically, you're trying to be shooting as much as possible. So and that's what they call time on target, right? So you're
Yep.
always like pointed at the thing, and you're like always shooting it. And you can get
Mm-hmm.
up to like 100%, like if you have like good orbits and stuff and good power management.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes like practice and stuff. So if it were me, I would keep going. I wouldn't even leave. I wouldn't leave until I hit
Would
like
you?
40 or something. I'd say, ah, fuck it. Unless I really knew someone was on me. But I would already be calling right now for like for a heal. Like I would already be
Resupply.
asking for
Yeah.
it. You should get that button. I don't know if you have it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna do that right now.
yeah, no, it's super important because it pings you, and then your support can see it. And then like,
Mm-hmm.
so even if you're behind rocks or whatever, he's like, oh, she's this way. Um, so I would not have run all the way back, especially if I wasn't gonna get, like, I'd be like screaming for a support, like, help me, oh my god. And then
Yeah.
you don't have MLMs, so I would already be asking, because like by the time the flip happens, like you want to
Uh-huh.
have like two Golos and then like a handful of MLMs, like whatever you have, like every single offensive defensive transition. Oh, someone's on me. Oh, that's good. Ooh, that was some nice drifting action there.
Yay! I did something.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Oh, that was a good release of MLMs. I would have done the same thing.
Nice.
Um, so you could, for that one, I don't know if you're going. Oh, yeah, I would spool up earlier, especially if they're coming like right at me.
Where?
Um, so this I think it was flying like right at you. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, right there.
So you already had it targeted. It's at 1200. I would already start
Uh-huh.
spooling up my laser. So by the time like it gets within 1,000, like
Oh.
you just burn it, and that's like a good way to handle like PK and stuff too. So sometimes what I'll do is if like they're really bugging me, like, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll kind of like drift and hide behind a rock, and then I'll kind of just be waiting there, like spooling up, and then I know they're gonna turn that corner, so I just shoot at them while they. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's almost like a freaking lightsaber, right? Like it's just like
Yeah.
this like freaking impenetrable beam. They fly through it and they take all this damage, and they're like, oh shit, you know. Like, I use that concept a lot. Like I kind of think of like rotary and especially rotary, not as much standards, but rotary is like kind of like a sword that you just kind of like slice through things,
Oh.
you know. Um, so as long as I'm sticking my sword out, like anything in there is gonna die, especially like AI, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really slow on that.
That's all right. Okay. So a big thing, and then this will take time, right? But once you get a good feeling about when you're gonna kill an AI, like I'm gonna kill it, whether that's by auxiliary or laser or something, like you know 100% you're gonna kill it. Like I would already
Mm-hmm.
start like looking for my next pack. Like I would already
Gotcha.
start like pressing like on target like AI or whatever.
I think at this point I started to realize that
Oh.
Blackheart and I, it might
Uh-huh.
be this point or a little bit later, but like we were farming the same place, so then I tried to like move to the different part of the map.
Ah, yes. I mean, so each of them have like kind of like a pattern, right? So each
Mm-hmm.
individual pack has like a pre-programmed like route that it's going to take every single time,
Mm-hmm.
and then that changes a little bit based on if they have a full pack, if they're trying to merge back with the original pack and stuff. Do you know like the
Mm-hmm.
mechanics of how that kind of works?
I kind of understand it, but it's still really complicated for me.
Okay, so it's basically you kill an AI and it spawns like 10 seconds later. And
Oh,
then
10 seconds? That's great.
and then packs always try to reform. And then when packs try to reform, they try to do it quickly. So then all of a sudden those ones that are trying to reform together, they'll fly faster. So sometimes I don't know if you noticed, but some packs will just like fly like super fast
Zoom!
from fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're trying to reform. Um, okay, so for that one, there's only
I
two
did.
spots you should shoot a Golo at. I'll
Okay.
pause.
This is where a glitch happens, so I just get
Ah,
that the whole
yes,
until
yeah.
I die.
That sucks. So there's only, let's see.
So I think you need the Armpit of Doom where like that person just go load.
Yeah. So
And then I just die here.
we don't have a good word for it. We call it the ass in the armpit, which isn't very
Oh
nice.
my gosh.
But it's hard to see.
Yeah.
That's all right. You'll come back to it on the next one. Well, actually, I'll show you. Let's see. Uh, so it's like right here, right? That's the armpit,
Uh-huh.
and then the ass is right here.
Okay. And you want to like go down on top of that, right?
Yeah.
Or do you want to go like to the side?
So the armpit, you want to go straight at it, like as if you were flying from like the bottom of this like ass part,
Mm-hmm.
straight towards that thing, and then you want to do it right in the corner, right? And then,
Oh.
but like the Nebulon, it's really weird based on its geometry. It's like the Golos, because the Golos do splash damage, right? And then the
Yes.
geometry affects the splash damage. So depending on
Oh.
like the angle you're going at, if you're too high or too low or too far to the left or too far to the right, like you're gonna get an impartial strip. Like it's like super rare when you'll burn like all the turrets. So I think on the bottom there's like two on the side and two on the other side, so that's four. And I think there's one like kind of a little further out this way. So sometimes you'll get five, but most of the time you'll get like two or three or something like that. But
Yep.
you should always try. And then someone should, and then for this part, like the top part, like you want to just go straight at the middle of it. And so
Okay.
when you're shooting a Golo, um, just like with when like you know how I said you want to boost,
Mm-hmm.
the your auxiliary keep your momentum. So if you're like kind of like strafing across, like your thing
Mm-hmm.
is gonna come out like in that kind of direction. And then like it's not gonna go as what you're pointing at. It's gonna be like if you're strafing to the right, it's not gonna go straight out when you shoot it. It's gonna come out a little further to the right, and then it's gonna kind of angle itself. So you want to be going like fucking like straight at it. That way you don't have any momentum issues, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I notice with my Golos, whenever I've been orbiting it, and
mhm.
it's like I shoot the Golo and it's like it's gone. It doesn't touch anything. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
get it.
So,
Oh,
so
I get it.
so you have to be boost. Well, it's easier. Well, you don't have to be boosting, but you need to be flying straight for
Yep,
like almost like a second, which is a long time to be able
dude,
to make
that's
it
so
go.
long.
Or you have to be just like right on it, so that like it won't miss. You know what I mean? Because you're like basically touching it.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the only times you should use Golos, like on the Nebulon, and I would only use one for like each spot, because the damage
Okay.
of the Golo is super small. Like the damage that you get is from killing turrets, which I think
Yep.
equates to like 1% or something like that.
I
So
don't know.
yeah, it's something like that. So that's all you need to do is just for the turrets. And then
Okay.
one thing I'll say is you and the team need to decide like how you're gonna handle turrets, and so you want to kill all the turrets, right? Like
Yeah. So
that's
you can out of phase it.
yeah. So you can out of phase it, and then so you can get like that damage in, right?
Yep.
So you and your farming partner and your team in general need to figure out like so one of you should call the armpit, one of you should call like the other side, right? And then that way you guys know, right? And then after that, to me, and this is like up to debate, right? So some people will just automatically start doing those like spline orbits, like the ones that go up and over and up and over and up and
Oh
over,
yeah.
like lions and platypus and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
then and that's all they do, right? And then some other people they'll go and they'll target like the turrets, right? So
Yeah.
and I don't know what the right answer is, like which is best, but like you should coordinate that with your team. Like if there's a turret stripper, well then they need to know they're a turret stripper so they can stop doing those orbits. And then if you're the turret stripper, you should be pressing target my attacker. Target my attacker
Right.
will take you to the
Mm-hmm.
laser turret, and then you can just burn those, I guess.
Gotcha. All right. I'll have to check in with Blackheart. See exactly what we want to do.
Yeah, and I know this is a lot of info, so I mean, I'll do more reviews and stuff with you. I know there's like 15 things I'm telling
Definitely.
you.
I know. I'm like writing it down though, so I can remember.
So the other thing I noticed when you're going in there, because you
Mm-hmm.
spawned and then you press target AI,
Uh-huh.
and then the phase was gonna flip, right? It was like 30
Yeah.
seconds away from flipping or something. So you should
Yeah.
you should press target my attacker a couple times because I would want to go to a pack. So if I press it just
Ah.
once, it's just gonna target the closest one to me, and that could just be like a single solo one, right? Like what if
Yeah.
I'm gonna fly my ass all the way out there? I'm sorry for the language. Like I want like a couple at least, right? So
Yeah.
if I press target AI twice, and then the two are like closely bundled together, I'm like, okay, well that's two.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth my time to go out there, you know. But your movement's good. I mean, you need to work a little bit on power management, and by working on power
Mm-hmm.
management, basically all that means is just like drifting, right? Like there's not a whole lot to it. It's just
Yep.
drifting longer while holding your energy. But I mean, two deaths is not bad at all. I mean, one of those is a bonk, right? And then you
Yeah.
had 32 AI. 32 AI is good. Your cap ship can do more damage, and it looks like you have lower
Yeah.
cap ship, but that's because you didn't shoot Raider. So like Sea Ranch is
Yeah.
a flex, Jay's a flex. So I mean, and Blackheart is a bomber, but like I would suspect a lot of that damage came in from the Raider, and then also the fact that you bonked on that one attack, and then so you lost like half
Uh-huh.
a phase for damage. So I wouldn't feel so
Yep.
bad about that. Like if you hadn't died, you probably would be around that 25k range, 20k range, or something like that, which is not bad, I guess, is what I'd say. Um,
That's good. I mean, it's still really small. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That makes me sad.
yeah, I mean you'll get better and better at it. I mean, just like everything else, at least this on orbits, that's something you could practice by yourself. Like you don't need anybody else to do it. And then so what I used to do is I used to go just set up the mods or whatever it was and just open a
Mm-hmm.
custom just by myself and kill both frigates by myself. I'd put like times 5 auxiliary or whatever, and then
Yeah.
I would just go and kill it, and then and that way you just it forces you just to orbit over and over and over again, and then you can find like the path that you like, right, and kind of like what feels good for you, and then
Mm-hmm.
to maximize time on target, and then the key is like because you take chip damage, right, like as you're getting shot.
Yeah.
So the faster you go, the less chip damage you get, and then if you
Like with the
turn
orbits?
yeah,
Okay,
so
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, and then if you turn sideways, you take even less damage, right? Um,
Whoa.
so I would just practice over, and then that may not be an answer. That's kind of what I do when I'm not stripping turrets, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you need to do, right? Like you need to find what's comfortable for you and what you like, and then I would just stick with that. That's what I would suggest. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, but no, I mean that was not a bad game from you. I mean, I wouldn't be sad about that performance from what I saw. You want to watch the next one?
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay. Let's see. All right.
And here I am targeting the AI for 30 minutes.
Yeah. That's all right. So you're
I like
going.
quickly stop that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going too fast. Your power management is going too quickly. So you're not able to boost gasp. You need to let your what's it called? Um, you need to let it kind of drift for longer. That's alright. So after, because I think you only got like 2 locks on that multi-lock.
Yeah.
As
That's
soon
what it
as,
looks like.
so you want to get like more, right? Especially if you're not under
Yeah.
pressure, you want to wait till you get all 4 multi-locks, like locked on,
Mm-hmm.
and then so there's like in the opener, right? So like I was telling you, there's predefined routes for every single pack, and
Yep.
then they stay perfect like in the beginning. Like in the opener, like this coin flip phase, they're exactly the same. Like there's never any variation between what they're supposed to do and what they do. So it's very important to like learn like where those packs are. So like where you went, your next route should have been to go to the bottom right, and there'd be a whole another pack right there. So I would have just shot off my goal. So
Oh.
you if you're not under pressure, you should shoot your Golo off first. That way you burn like the entire pack, and then
Yep.
like each pack, depending on the angle and stuff, like there's one that you want to hit. But I mean, as NR, it's almost always like in the middle. Or as NR, it's in the middle. As Empire, you kind of need to play around with it. But then
I
and then
think. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
and then on the second pack, that's when you burn like your multi locks. Or are you
Okay.
saying you had a question or something?
Oh, like when we were going out in the opener, Blackheart had like worked really hard to get a uh uh, uh
Hmm.
a dead fire Golo.
Oh
He like
yes.
had the perfect setup, and I was like very concerned that I had accidentally picked the pack that he was going for. So that's kind of where I hesitated.
Oh,
And
I see.
like so that was kind of like the mindset that I had.
Hmm. So yeah, I gotcha. I mean, that's one of those things.
Anyway, so that's just what was happening.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
But I wrote down what you said, so
Okay. So what you did earlier, I wouldn't have done that. Like to try
the
to get
whole
the. I used to do that. I used to do that same exact thing, like to try to get the Golo like underneath the shields.
yeah.
But okay, so here's kind of why I stopped it, right? Like
Yeah.
I never once got one. I mean, that you lasted a good long time. I never once got like a whole strip off of one of those like undershield turrets or like strips. And then so
Yeah.
to me, it's like if you do it right, like you could use one Golo and you could kill all the stuff on top except like one in the back, and then all the
Yep.
stuff on bottom right with one. So I find
I
that
mean,
like
like, yeah.
yeah, it's like overkill, I guess, right? Because most likely what you're gonna do is shoot like another Golo at it, and then that second Golo
Yeah.
would have wiped out everything anyways. So I kind of stopped doing that.
Yep. I just think I was just like, oh man, I'm gonna do it, and it's just
Yeah.
like one of those, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I was just like, well, I could just wait for them to strip the shields. It'll take like 10 seconds, and then I could just, like you said, Golo
Hmm.
them that way.
Oof. I
Don't
did.
worry, I lived through this.
Oh. All right.
I don't know
Okay.
how. I think they forgot or something.
Oh, that was good evasion. You flew right at him. Your power management is good. So you have boost to like keep away from this guy. That was really good. Oh, that's a block.
Hello, Rock.
So right here, I would make sure to bounce shields because you have overcharge on your back. Like I would
Yep,
make it
there
a
it goes.
point to balance it like quite regularly. Let's see.
I have like
Yeah.
a really old throttle, and that's where it's like, so it's
Oh, okay.
janky.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. So yeah, and then I don't know what like your comms are like, but just pinging the pack you're going on.
Yep.
Like I'll typically just say like, oh, I'm here, or I'm you know, just something simple like that, so you don't cloud up the comms. because there's all these people yelling and all this shit. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you kind of want to keep it simple and stuff.
And like I know that for Sea Wrench, it's kind of like really cluttered for him. Like everything is like really cluttered, so I try to keep it short.
Yeah, he's your flex, right? Is that...
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, okay.
He's our flex. Because
Oh,
he and oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, that was just like what you did right there when you boosted into it. That was perfect. That was beauty.
Nice.
Yeah. What were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, Sea Wrench, it's hard for him to like kind of focus. So he likes because he and Jay have to coordinate all of their attacks, so he gets so I don't want to like distract him too much.
Yeah, I mean, you just doing a simple "I'm here," you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just a ping and I'm here is like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he'll just need to learn how to live with it. You know what I mean? Because there's gonna be there's all this shit that's happening. You know, someone's gonna be screaming for resupply. You know, like this is not the time to be polite. I guess when you're in mid game. You know, like I mean, I get
I
it,
guess that
right?
makes sense.
But like, I mean, at the same time, you have needs too, right? Like,
Yeah.
um, so I will say, in the first half of your game, the power management wasn't so good, but it's gotten like a lot better. I don't know if you're just warmer or something, but
Yeah, I
like,
think that's what it was.
and your movement's quite good. I mean, okay, you're saving for the item phase. Yeah, your movement's really good. Like it's not like janky or anything. Like it looks good, I guess. Is what I'll say.
Well, the Y-Wing is my favorite, so I have a favorite.
Ah, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like you picked up the dummy fire. So if you want to maximize your damage, so you saw
Uh-huh.
what happened, right? Like when you shot that Golo off, like you were kind of going downwards. So that's where your momentum was shifting you, and that's why it shot so far down, right?
Yep.
So you know, there's two ways to handle it, right? You either fly straight at it for like a second or something, so that you have zero momentum, like in any direction,
Yep.
or you get like right on it, like a few meters away, just blast it, and that's kind of what I do a lot of times.
A little intimate moment there.
Yeah, yeah. Because I don't like, I'm not patient, so I just like to shoot.
I know. I'm
Um,
not patient. Patience is not my virtue.
yeah. Another thing to really maximize your damage is to make sure you're getting all your locks off, because you only got like one off there, right?
Yep. Like
So
with the multi-locks.
yeah, because the multi-locks do like a lot of damage. I mean, it's I forget the number. It's a pretty big number though. So if you get all four of them, like oh, that's a lot of damage.
Okay.
It,
Wait for all four. Okay.
if you're under pressure, I can understand when you want to shoot like a little bit less. But if you're not under pressure, like you should make sure, just like when you're farming, if you're not under pressure, like you need to make sure you get like every single one of those locks off, because you
Okay.
know basically on farm every single one of those locks could be the equivalent of like ooh this is some fancy flying, these are really nice, of like 3 morale, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you kind of want to maximize it. Okay. I like that you stay on task. Like you only shoot him just for like a short period of time, and only when he's like right in front of you. You don't like go and chase him, which is really good. Like I
Yeah,
think,
I'm a farmer. That's all I want.
so all the farmers should really have that mentality. Like it's not, you know, I mean you're a good farmer soul, but like you're not so good where you can carry just the whole team on your back. In
Yeah.
terms of AI, like you need someone else farming with you, and you need someone else farming with you
Yeah.
like full time.
Because the I'm not just like carrying the team, like the other team is carrying themselves and
Mhm.
I'm fighting them and it's just almost impossible to do it by yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a fast farmer, but like I mean, I need help, right? I can't do it by myself. I mean, I need like another, I need another like parry. You know what I mean? It's just so at this point, oh, he killed himself. Oh, so they can deny the.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
they did.
yeah. So you have to just go and it is what it is. Someone's on you. You're being evasive.
I'm
Broke the
waiting
lock.
for like a resupply, I think.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh wait, no, that's what I did. I was like, do I go to the Nebulon or do I wait for someone to give me a resupplies? Then I just went.
Yeah. So I'll say you're not under target right now. Like I'm pretty sure that's like a missile, right? From the
Yeah,
frigate. And the
yeah.
way to like it's really helpful to kill those freaking things. And that way, if you get a missile lock, you know like oh someone's looking at me, you know. So like as a
Mm-hmm.
farmer, I intentionally kill those damn freaking things.
Just so annoying to have that on your screen.
Yeah. Oh, see, I don't know why you're going for the radar there. That should not be the first thing. The first thing is, and I don't know what your default kind of plan is, but like, so if you have, if the ISD or MC75 whatever it is if it's marked by the support, that
Mm-hmm.
means one ion missile will disable like a shield gen,
Mm-hmm.
and then what's it called? So if you have marks and both your flexes are up and they can do it, then they should dunk each gen by shooting
Uh-huh.
an ion missile at each one, and then you have free range to shoot it because all the shields are disabled, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
you don't have that, then you should have a default play where you guys are like, well, we'll kill the left one and we'll dunk the right one, right? So, and I don't know what
Right.
Jay's calling out here, but he should be calling that stuff out, and that should be driving what you do. But like, you should never go for
Okay.
like that radar dish. There's only like two targets you should ever go for. Like, you either go for those shields, or you go for those turbo bank lasers like that are on the side of the shields. You know, there's like four of them.
Mm-hmm.
One Golda will kill four of it, and that's like 4% of the whole ISD, which is a lot.
That's huge.
Um, yeah, your movement's very good. I mean, you have very good flying chops. I'm telling you, not everyone has that. Like your movement's like very smooth, and like on the attacker side, if someone's PKing you, like it'd be hard to get a lock on you. Let's
Well,
see.
thank you.
Yeah. Mm.
I definitely feel a whole lot more comfortable in the Y-Wing with the power management than the whole shunting thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I used to like the Y Wing a lot more
Uh-huh.
until I started playing an SCL, and then I found out that everyone loves shooting those freaking things. And then I was like, oh, the bomber's so much nicer. Okay.
And I really need to work on the overcharged lasers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, that's like optimization stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, okay.
that's my opinion on the matter. Like when there's like multi-drifting, and then there's like the overcharge thing that I do, and then there's like small little things, right? Like little
Mm-hmm.
optimization tweaks. Like eventually, to be awesome, like you need to like you just keep optimizing like over and over and over again, and then you become like a lean machine, right? But to me, like it's more important to spend more time on the fundamentals rather than these small little
Mm-hmm.
like percentage, like oh, now I'm like 2% better, but like no, I'd say work on like the bigger things. Let's see. Your farm is good. 2 deaths is not bad. I mean, 30k is good. Um, your flexes have more, but that should be expected. Like you never shot Raider, right?
No, I
That's a
never
good.
touched it.
Yeah, that's a good number. I'd be quite satisfied with this performance if I was you too. I think these were both good games on your side. Definitely some optimizations.
Yeah.
I mean, on Empire, I think your biggest weaknesses are not holding drifts long enough. That's
Mm-hmm.
one. Number two is you're not feathering like the rotary cannons long enough. Or you're not
Oh,
feathering it
yeah.
at all, right? Like, or you do it sometimes you don't, I guess. And that's like real key on you, like getting, because you wanna drift in there, blast the AI, get out of there. You know what I mean? Boost out, right? And then in order to have that quickness
Mm-hmm.
of movement and efficiency, you need to be feathering like the rotary. Do you know what I mean by
Okay.
feathering?
like the pre-warm up before the rotary actually starts firing. Is that what you're talking about?
That's correct, yeah. And
Okay,
then with
gotcha.
standards, you don't need that because it's just like an instant shot,
Yeah.
which is nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is like orbits, right? So,
Yes.
and again, that's something that you could practice alone. You don't need anyone shooting at you. So, once you start getting better and better at orbits, that's when you start doing like, I call them like torture tests, where I start having like
Your
one to
tests.
two people like shoot me and stuff. I try to do things, and then that makes me feel like how it's going to be like under pressure and stuff. So my
Yeah.
goal is like, okay, once they start shooting at me, if I could stay alive for like 10 seconds while still doing my job, like there's a good
Mm-hmm.
possibility that I'd be able to get like a support to like give me a resupply, right? So if I can stay
Right.
alive for those 10 seconds, like someone's gonna come resupply me, and that feels pretty good, right? But
Yes.
I would focus on just getting the orbit that you want, and then like or think about like what do I have to change someone shooting at me and stuff, right? On
Definitely. That
the
makes a lot of sense.
for New Republic, your power management wasn't so good in the beginning, but it definitely got better on the second half of it. Like definitely a lot better. Um, you need to boost into your auxiliary. Your farm is solid. I would just say just start thinking about being more proactive, like on your farm. Like where am I gonna go next?
Yep. Okay, this one's almost dead. Where's the next target? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and you don't, maps like Galtan and like Nadiri, like it's hard to get a feeling about where they are. So
Yeah.
I generously use like Target AI. Like I spam that shit a lot, and then like I'll even cycle all the way back to like the first one. You know what I mean? Because you can
Yeah.
only, so like just to get an idea about where they are, and like okay, now I know where to go.
Oh,
You know what
I
I mean?
never thought about that. So you like go through the entire spectrum, so you know where every single AI is?
So if I don't go, I go until I could find two to three that are really close in a row.
Okay.
So like I'll keep going,
Oh, I'm
and then
gonna have to steal that.
yeah, and then that way you go there, and then I will already like even if I'm like 2,000 out or whatever, like I will ping it. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm going there, and that way your farming buddy knows like, oh yeah, she's going there, and then ideally when he wipes out his pack or whatever he's chasing, he'll do the same thing, and then he'll go to like a separate pack that's formed. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And then
Okay,
and
okay.
that really starts to increase like your farming efficiency. So I don't know how much you play with Blackheart, and then if you guys have any other farmers that you're gonna play with, but like especially when you're
Hmm.
starting off, like building that rapport with like the other person is like super money because then you get a feeling about where they like to be and like how fast they are at killing stuff. And then sometimes like I mean you're obviously like the best farmer, so I would
Right now
put
I am.
yeah, I mean, but you kind of use that as like a baseline, right? Like I know Soul can burn the X AI like in this amount of time, so that
Hmm.
means like realistically, your other guy, after he kills so many AI, he could like turn on Raider or something, right? So
Yeah.
you being that as good as you are at killing AI affords your team more flexibility in the things that they can do. But you kind of gain that by playing with everyone, right? So
Hmm.
and
Yep.
then, um, but yeah, I mean that was good overall. I don't know. Do you have any questions? I know that was a shit ton of information, but
No, I think I was able to ask them as you were commenting, so I think I fully understand what you were talking about, so thank you.
oh, no problem. Yeah, no problem at all.